We here. We here. We here. Where y'all at? I'm on time today. Yeah, I'm on time today. I'm on time today. All right. What's good? I'm on time today. This is so exciting. Friend! I'm on time today! I'm on time today! I'm on time today! We out here. We did it! Reading what Miss Taylor said is back. You a real one, for real. We are here. We are back. Oh, man. It's been a long time. I shouldn't have left you without a dope beat to step to. Oh, my gosh. What up? What up? Who's over here on Facebook? We doing things a little different on Facebook. I'm not fooling with that computer this time around. I'm not fooling with the computer. So, we doing things a little bit different on Facebook. What's up? Hey, y'all. Oh, shoot. We really live. Like, this is so exciting. This is so exciting. I'm wearing red because it's Mars Day. You know what I'm saying? Got to keep that thing on me. You know? I got some tea. Tea is... It's been like a year, right? Something like that. It's been a long time. What up? It's been like a year or some shit. I don't know. I'm gonna give it 3 more minutes. And then get back into the book. Well, I'm getting into my business. And then I'm getting into the book. Because... obviously, it's been way too long. It's been entirely too long. But we on Facebook and we on Instagram. Let me, I should share it on my Facebook. Hello. I should share it on Facebook. I did not think about that. I thought about having a computer up. I still gotta fool with this computer. Dang it. I brought a hat just in case. What's up? Hey, Sarante! The whole gang's here now. Wait a minute, we just missing Jaleesa. That's it. And then the whole gang is here. All right. Oh, man. Oh, don't look at me. Okay. I'm gonna pull up my computer and share it. If the computer's even charged. Is the computer charged? Who knows? I ain't worried about it. We about to get... It's 7:04. It's 7:04 right now. You know, Charlotte, stand up. You know what I'm saying? 7:04. 9 You know what I'm saying? That's home. Hardly home, but always repping. Okay. I'm really excited right now. Like, y'all... I'm so excited. I just want to show off my little earrings. If you can see my earrings, they're like little butterflies with the Cuban. My best friend got them for me. You want to check that? Like 2 of my favorite things in 1 ear. Boom. Cuban link and butterflies. Oh, I'm so happy you guys are here. Okay. Make sure y'all are sharing it onto your pages and such. Share it and like it and all the things. Okay. I hope my tea, I hope it's at a good temperature. It's probably not. It's probably too hot. No, it's perfect. I didn't wait till it went to the whistle. I didn't have enough time for that. It's lemon zinger tea. Anyway, welcome to Reading with Miss Taylor Said. I do this show now every Tuesday and Thursday. Tuesday and Thursday. I'm giving myself something manageable, okay? Do the show every Tuesday and Thursday at 7 o'clock. And you know what's crazy? As excited as I was to do the show, I did not prepare. I'm just here winging it. Like I've been doing like everything. But I started this show back in 2020. I started this show November 2020 in an effort to accomplish some things. For one, I wanted to actually read the books that I own. I have a bunch of books and I wanted to read them. So I want to read the books that I own. I also plan on going into a public speaking space at some point. I mean, I'll be public speaking. I do it, you know, but like as a full-time career, you know, I want to have a talk show. I want to get my Oprah on, you know what I'm saying? So I plan on doing that with my life. So I want to practice reading aloud in front of an audience. And I also can't remember the third reason why I do this, but I'm doing it. And really, I'm just doing it because I want to and because I miss you guys. I miss doing this. I miss reading. I miss reading. Like, okay, let me catch y'all up. Okay? Let me catch y'all up. Few things since we last left each other. All right, a few things since we last left each other. If you are following me on social media at all, you will probably notice that some things have changed. For one, I don't know. I wasn't doing the show when I figured this out. I'm non-binary. So there's that. My pronouns are she, they, you know, those are my pronouns. I like it a whole lot whenever I get called they. Like, it is my favorite. Because like I do what I want. Like it's not even like, am I a woman or a man? No, I'm Taylor. That's what I am. I do whatever I want. And so, you know, I jokingly, let me tell y'all a joke. Not a joke, but it was just a funny. I was on the phone a little bit ago and I was like, do I want to get rid of my mustache? You know, cause like I have like, man, I'm letting my hair just grow as it does. And I'm just like, they punzel, yes, Sarante, they punzel, yes. But no. So I was just like, I'm gonna let my body hair just like do whatever the fuck it wants to do, right? And so, I was like, if I leave the mustache on, I can't remember how I said it, but I was just like, if I leave the mustache on, it's giving Baylor. Whoo, Baylor. Yeah, so I'm tickled by that. Anyway, I'm non-binary. Couple other things. I have ADHD. I got that one figured out. I also, I'm other neurodivergent as well. I have other neurodiversities as well. Might be a little autistic. We don't know yet. I gotta get diagnosed, so I'm not even gonna say that one yet, but it's looking like that. And I'm learning so much about my brain. I'm learning so much about what I need and what I want. And it looks nothing like I freaking thought it was going to look like. And the last time that I was doing the show, things were a hot ass mess. Bro, it was bad. And we ain't even going to like, there's not enough time to actually catch up on that. Like, that's going to have to be like Patreon type story time. Ain't nobody got time for all that because we're here to read, right? But it's been a hot mess. And then it wasn't a hot mess. And then it was a hot mess again. But then it really wasn't a hot mess. And it was a great time. Fantastic time. And great time. Great times are still going. But boy, it was bad for a second there. And I'm thankful to be here. I'm thankful to be here. I'm thankful to be here with y'all. I'm thankful to be able to read my books and all that stuff. And I don't know what's happening in my throat right now. It's not like a cry. It's like an energy feeling right here. But anyway, let's get into this book. So, I hope you weren't waiting on me to finish reading this book. You should have went home and finished it yourself. But if you were waiting, let's go ahead and get back into adult children of emotionally immature parents. This episode is a play all day episode because like we need to get eased back into this. I'm going to do us all a favor and start the chapter over. We are in chapter 8 of adult children of emotionally immature parents. I am in a critical time of my life where I absolutely need this information. So let's go ahead and start reading, shall we? Chapter 8. Hello, we are reading Adult Children of Emotionally Immature Parents. You came in just in time for the reading part, because I was just bullshitting before. Anyway, Chapter 8 of Adult Children of Emotionally Immature Parents. How to avoid getting hooked by an emotionally immature parent. Yeah, I need this part. It's hard to see our parents as fallible human beings. As children, we believe our parents can do anything. Although adolescence and independence of adulthood can weaken our view of our parents as all-powerful, they don't eradicate it. Therefore, even if they aren't loving, we wishfully think they could be if they wanted to. Certain cultural tenets also keep us from seeing our parents clearly. Most of us are instilled with beliefs such as all parents love their children, a parent is the one person you can trust, a parent will always be there for you, you can tell your parents anything, your parents will love you no matter what, you can always go back home, your parents only want what's best for you, your parents know more than you do, whatever your parents do, they're doing for your own good. But if your parents were emotionally immature, many of these statements may not be true. In this chapter, I'll help you look beneath the surface of your childhood hopes and cultural assumptions in order to see your parents more accurately. You'll be learning a new way to relate to them so that you won't expect what they can't give. You'll learn how to protect your emotions and individuality by approaching your parents in a more neutral way, a way they can tolerate emotionally. But first, let's look at a common fantasy that often prevents people from relating to their parents in a realistic way. Let's figure this out. We're going to learn this. We're going to get this figured out. This next section is called the fantasy that a parent will change. Excuse me. A common fantasy among children of emotionally immature parents is that their parents will have a change of heart and finally love them by showing concern. Unfortunately, self-preoccupied parents refuse all invitations to fulfill their part in their child's healing story. Focused on their own healing fantasy, they expect their children to make up for their childhood hurts. Ooh. Seeking their parents' healing love, many people hop around after their parents like hungry birds, trying to elicit a crumb of positive response from them. In adulthood, these children often learn a variety of healthy communication skills and hope that these skills will improve their relationship with their parents. Me. That's me. Let's go. Episode 71. Yes, we're in here. We're reading Adult Children of Emotionally Immature Parents. We are on How to Avoid Getting Hooked by an Emotionally Immature Parent, Chapter 8. They think they might finally have the techniques necessary to draw their parents into a rewarding interaction. Annie's story. Annie's mother, Betty, a woman with strong religious convictions, had always been emotionally insensitive, and her childhood treatment of Annie sometimes verged on physical and emotional abuse. Although Annie had lived with this treatment for a long time, she reached the breaking point where Betty made a derogatory comment about Annie in front of her colleagues at Annie's award ceremony at work. Annie's feelings were deeply hurt, and she was embarrassed in front of her friends. The insult was so blatant that Annie was sure her mother couldn't deny the wildly inappropriate nature and timing of her comment, as she usually did. But Betty wouldn't take responsibility, coldly denying that what she'd done was problematic. Over the next few days, Annie kept trying to get Betty to understand how hurt she was. She finally wrote a letter to her mother, telling her how she felt and asking her to sit down with her and talk it out. Annie put a great deal of thought into the letter, which was extremely emotionally articulate, in hopes that Betty would see and regret that her behavior had been so chronically insensitive over the years. but Betty didn't offer any response. Emptiness hung between them, along with Annie's impression that her mother couldn't care less. I want to say to her, I'm your daughter, Annie cried. Murderers kill people, and their moms still love them. We're family. She's my mom. How can she just let that go? This wasn't the first time Annie had tried to reach Betty emotionally. After starting therapy, Annie tried to express herself and work things out in a healthy way whenever her parents were mean or disrespectful towards her. Although Betty routinely dismissed Annie's outreach, she'd always remain in contact so she could see Annie's 3 little boys. But this time, it was different. What I can't get over is that there's nothing coming back, not even anger, Annie said. All I want is some level of response that shows that this matters, even if I've just made her angry. In addition to being wounded, Annie was confused. Although Betty refused to respond, Annie knew her mother was sociable and capable of showing kindness and generosity toward other people. Annie understood that those relationships were more superficial, but this knowledge didn't help her emotionally. You'd think my mom would have some natural desire to make things better between us, some kind of acknowledgement, or maybe even something through Dad. Annie's sorrow and incomprehension showed on her face. Annie was grieving over not having an emotionally supportive mother, and working through that would take time. But she was also aware that her appeals were making things worse, and it was important to address that too. Annie was confused. She was doing everything she knew to repair the relationship, communicating clearly, making respectful requests, and being emotionally honest. She wondered how they could work anything out without talking about it. Annie, I said, you're doing all the right things in trying to make a connection with your mom. You're looking for emotional intimacy with her, which makes perfect sense. But I don't think she can tolerate it. While you think you're just trying to relate, your mom probably sees it as a major threat to her equilibrium. After all, she's been living like this for years. Your openness and honesty are more than she can handle. Think of it as though your mom has a snake phobia. You keep plopping a big, fat, writhing snake in her lap. She can't stand it, no matter how meaningful it might be to you. Emotional closeness demanded a level of emotional maturity her mother simply didn't have. But her mother's silence made Annie feel like an emotional hostage. She couldn't rest until her mother was happy with her. I told Annie that the only way Betty was going to come around was if Annie stopped talking about her misbehavior and how hurtful it was. Annie needed to find a way forward that didn't involve her mother's participation. That's the only thing that works with parents who are terrified of emotional intimacy. I explained that she could have a relationship with her mother, but it wouldn't be the kind of relationship she yearned for. Her best option was to manage their interactions deliberately rather than seeking emotional intimacy. Annie was open to my suggestions, but still felt confused. She could remember Betty's anguished visits with her own mother, who was also rejecting when Annie was a child. Betty felt so unloved by her own mother that after these visits, she left sobbing with no one to comfort her but Annie. How could she now be doing this to her own daughter? Annie asked. You'd think she'd hate to do that to her own child after she suffered so much. It was a good point, but Betty was just passing her trauma down the line, as people tend to do when they repress their childhood pain. Annie was so intent on winning her mother's approval that she stopped evaluating the relationship. She never asked herself whether Betty was the type of person she enjoyed being around. Now, I know we covered this section the last time we were here, but we just got to refresh, you know. This is a very particular type of pain. Wondering why your mother refuses to mother. Why does my mother refuse to mother me in the way that I need? Shouldn't she know what I need? She made me. What do you mean? Why don't you know what I need? You literally created me. How do you not know? Like, that's the feeling. That's the betrayal that you feel when your parent is emotionally immature and refuses to offer you emotional intimacy. Is like, it's this betrayal that it's just like, you literally made me. How could you not do the thing? But when you step back and you stop thinking about the parent as someone that owes you something. I mean, because they absolutely do. Like, I didn't ask to be here. You didn't ask to be here. None of us asked to be here. So they absolutely owe us something. But if we just look at them as the human that they are, would you even hang out with them? Would you even spend time with that person if they were a stranger and you happened to meet them? You met them at work, or you met them in the library, not in the library, but like you met them somewhere, like at a book club or something. Like, would they even be the type of person that you would be like, ooh, let me get your number and let's go have coffee? Oh. Then why do we need their approval? It's because they're our parent, you know? But that's what this is getting at. To separate them and treat them as the human that they are rather than the role that they were assigned in your life. The next section is called Forging a New Relationship. What did you say? Conceited gift, yes. Forging a New Relationship. The rest of this chapter explores how to handle an emotionally immature parent as well as other people by changing your expectations and replacing reactivity with observation. 3 key approaches will help you free yourself from getting caught up in your parents' emotional immaturity: detached observation, maturity awareness, and stepping away from your old role self. So the first section is detached observation. The first step in gaining your emotional freedom is to assess whether either of your parents was emotionally immature. Given that you're still reading this book, you've probably decided that at least one of your parents fits that description. Such a parent can probably never fulfill your childhood vision of a loving parent. The only achievable goal is to act from your own true nature, not the role self that pleases your parent. You can't win your parent over, but you can save yourself. For my own understanding of how this works, I'm indebted to family therapist Murray Bowen for his family systems theory in 1978, which describes how emotionally immature parents promote emotional enmeshment over individual identity. As a reminder, enmeshment occurs when parents don't respect boundaries, project their unresolved issues onto their children, and get too involved in their children's business. In families dominated by emotionally immature people, enmeshment and in families dominated by emotionally immature people, enmeshment and playing roles are valued in order to keep the family close. Of course, genuine communication and emotional intimacy are absent in such families. No one's true self is ever acknowledged. Further, in an enmeshed family, if you have a problem with someone, you talk about that person to other people instead of going to the person directly. Bowen called this triangling and characterized enmeshment as the glue that keeps families together. Bowen also explored how this situation might be remedied, at least for some family members. He found that observation and emotional detachment can give individuals a place to stand outside of their family system. When people keep themselves poised in neutral observation, they can't be hurt or emotionally ensnared by other people's behavior. Becoming observational. When interacting with emotionally immature people, you'll feel more centered if you operate from a calm thinking perspective rather than emotional reactivity. Start by settling yourself and getting into an observational detached frame of mind. There are any number of ways to do this. For example, you can count your breath slowly, tense and relax your muscle groups in a systematic sequence, or imagine calming imagery. My words are starting to leave me because I worked today and I saw like a bunch of people. But it's okay. Also, I'll be right back. All right. And I'm back. Instagram froze. Instagram, come back. Thank you. Okay. It's doing that thing. All right, are we good over here on Instagram? I don't know what happened, but can y'all let me know that we good? Can y'all hear me? Did somebody call me or something? Yeah, the mic's on. Are we good? Can y'all hear me? Can y'all see me? I need somebody to say something, like something, something. Are we good? I don't know. I don't know what's happening on Instagram. We good on Instagram? I don't know. No one's saying anything. So I'm going to assume that we're fine. It's a little laggy over there. I don't know what's going on. I need somebody to say something. I don't know. Okay. I'm going to assume it's fine. It looks like it's fine now. Okay, cool. If somebody could just let me know that things are good over here, somebody could throw an emoji up there or something. Anyway, the next section is called Becoming Observational. When interacting with emotionally immature people, you'll feel more centered if you operate from a calm thinking perspective. Did we already say this? Yeah. I said this part already. The slow breaths, tense and relax the muscle groups, and imagine calming imagery. Cool. Next, your job is to stay detached emotionally and observe how others behave, just like a scientist would. Pretend you're conducting an anthropological field study. What words would you use to describe others' facial expressions? What is their body language communicating? Does their voice sound calm or tense? Do they appear rigid or receptive? How do they respond when you try to relate? What do you find yourself feeling? Can you spot any of the emotionally immature behaviors described in chapters 2 and 3? If you're practicing observing your parent or other loved ones and find yourself getting emotional, your distress is a sign that your healing fantasy has been activated. You've fallen back into believing that you can't be okay if they don't validate you. If you start slipping into your fantasy that you may be able to get the other person to change, you'll feel weak, vulnerable, apprehensive, and needy. This extremely unpleasant feeling of weakness is a signal that you need to shift out of responding emotionally and move back into observing mode. If you find yourself becoming reactive, silently repeat to yourself, detach, detach, detach. Make a point of consciously describing the other person in words silently into yourself. During a distressful interaction, this kind of mental narration can center and ground you. Whenever you try to find the exact words to describe something, it helps redirect your brain's energy away from emotional reactivity. The same goes for getting control over your own emotional reactions. Silently narrating your own emotional reactions can give you that extra bit of objectivity that cools things down. If the other person is still getting to you, find an excuse to put some distance between you. Excuse yourself from the room for a bathroom break, play with a pet, take a walk, or run an errand. Gaze out the window and notice nature. If you're interacting on the phone, find a pretext to get off the phone and say you look forward to talking another time. Use whatever excuse you need to take some time to get yourself back into a more detached, observational mindset. As you can see, staying observational isn't passive. It's a very active process. It's also the royal road out of emotional enmeshment. As you practice observing, you'll become stronger and more confident in your ability to see what's really going on, especially now that you have more of an understanding of emotional immaturity. You no longer have to be the upset, helpless child devastated by pot shots from your parents. Your clear mind and observational attitude will keep you strong no matter what the other person does. All right. Who all in here? Who all in here? What's up, y'all? What's up, y'all? Okay. The next section, I find myself doing that. Like, I think it's funny because like now I'm reading this and I'm like, yo, okay, good to know somebody's in here. We are reading Adult Children of Emotionally Immature Parents. Welcome to Reading with Miss Taylor Said. I find myself doing that. I'm so happy to be back, Sarante. Like, you don't understand, man. Like, I had the worst week ever last week. It was awful. It was freaking awful. And it's funny to be reading this because I am making a lot of decisions. I've made a lot of decisions when it comes to separate myself from my parents. Like, I started this year blocking my father. Like, I blocked him. I sent him this long text message letter. I sent it. I waited until I knew he saw it, and then I blocked him. And then my brother got mad at me, and I blocked him too. So that's how I started my year. And like, it's been rough this year. And it's been a transition because I am like, I'm so happy with the progress that I've made, but I've had to grieve so much. That's what this last year has just been a really extended grieving process, because I ended so many relationships. Like, I started this year ending a relationship with my dad. I started last year ending a relationship with my best friend at the time. Like, yeah. Man, listen. At this point, I feel like I need to be a grief doula or something, I need to be a grief counselor or something, because they don't pay me, so they will not be getting free advertisement from me. I feel like I need to do something when it comes to grief, because like, I have such an intimate relationship with it at this point. And like, even the way that she's explaining, you know, how to become observational, like, that is literally how I handle situations. Like, I don't even be reacting no more to shit. Like, I don't even react no more. I just be listening. Like, I react sometimes if something is abrupt. Like, that's why, like, sometimes stuff catches me off. If it catches me off guard and it genuinely surprises me, I will have a genuine reaction to it. But a lot of people's behaviors, I can just predict them because I'm observing them and I'm listening to what they're saying. And I can just predict how they're going to behave. And I don't be surprised by people's actions no more. Not like that. Like, because even if I don't know exactly what they're about to do, I can tell when somebody's about to shift how they behave. Like, minimum, I can tell when they're about to shift how they can behave. And I'm not saying it like I have some superpower, but it's like this, what she's saying, becoming observational and shutting up and like listening to people and what they're saying and watching their body language and seeing what they're not telling you and stuff like that. Like paying attention to what they're not telling you, paying attention to how they word things and stuff like that. And it's just like, it's not to be hyper vigilant or anything like that, but when you do have to be hyper vigilant about an emotionally immature parent, you are on guard all the time. And if you have any hope of making it out of there, you become really observant and you really get an understanding of people's behaviors without having to say anything. And like, that's where we at. I'm like, I be going through it or whatever, but I'm on antidepressants, so that helps. I'm on a low dose too. Like, it's just enough to like, you know how like to take the edge off of my depression. It's just enough of that. Oh man. I'm trying to do things different, man. I'm trying to do things differently. I'm trying to manage this shit, and it's really hard because the closer I get to being in alignment with my highest self, the more I realize that just stuff has to change, and it doesn't feel good to kind of adjust, because like I can't make decisions based on how I've been indoctrinated and the things that I've been taught to believe, because I don't live a lifestyle that reflects anything I was raised to be. And hello, smoke. I got incense burning in here, of course. But I don't live like that. I don't live in a way that that agrees with how I was raised, because I was raised to be compliant. I was raised by bullies and abusers, so I was raised to be compliant. So I follow rules. Like I be following rules. And I was having a conversation with a friend yesterday, and it was, oh God, how did she put it? Basically, I have been in a position where I've had to wait for permission. And now I'm transitioning into a position, and I've given myself permission to be, like free, trademark. But like, I still have a boundary on it, because I'm like, there's a limit and we can't go outside. Like, for example, growing up, I grew up in a prison, y'all. Growing up, when we had our bikes, right? My mom was really scared something bad would happen to us. So, we were never, like, the way that kids get to ride their bikes up and down the street with the other neighborhood kids, we were not allowed to, because for one, we were Christian and those kids were worldly. They were secular and not in church. Anyway, so we weren't allowed to hang out with the other neighborhood kids unless it was like our neighbors across the street. We weren't allowed to go up the street. My brother was eventually allowed to do all that. I was not, because I have a vagina. But we weren't allowed to like go up the street and stuff and hang out with other kids. So like, when we had our bikes, we had to ride our bikes in the yard, not in the street in front of the yard, not on the road with our friends. We had to ride our bikes in the yard and just do laps in the yard so that we could stay in our mom's eyesight. And it's like that, where I got my bike and I'm gonna go wherever I want in the yard. And sometimes I'm even gonna go on the street. Ooh, who gonna tell me? No, she ain't looking. I'm gonna go on the street. In reality, I am fully and physically capable of riding this bitch up and down the road if I want to. But I'm waiting on somebody to tell me I'm allowed to. And I'm 31. You know? So that's what we're working on. That's what we're working on. That's what we're doing. Because it's like, this is really like reading what Miss Taylor said. I'm going to read books that I need to read for my journey and hope that it helps you all on y'all's journey too. But really, the kid can't afford therapy right now, and I'm not using y'all as therapy. However, I'm just going to talk about my experiences and read these books. And if some of my experiences, you know, unleash trauma and whatnot, we here. If y'all stay, I hope y'all getting something out of it. Hey y'all, it's been a minute, and it's not the same as it was before. I'm not the same as I was before. I'm not the same as I was before. I am really thankful that y'all showed up. I'm really thankful y'all are here. I'm really thankful I showed up because, you know, if you have been watching Reading what Miss Taylor Said for any amount of time before this episode, you know I will cancel the episode so fast. I'll cancel the episode so fast. I'll cancel the episode so fast. I'll be late. I'll cancel the episode. I ain't showing up. Like, y'all get 20 minutes of my time. Like, ooh. But I also wasn't on antidepressants. I also was, I think, either I had just found out or I was in the process of finding out I had ADHD. So, time blindness, distractions, like all executive dysfunction. Wow. Sometimes I just could not get myself up to do it. And I wanted to, and I planned on it. But like also pathological demand avoidance is something that I'm looking into. And yeah, you was good at being late. Yes. Yeah, the show, yeah, we pulled up at 7:30, you know, on CPT, you know what I'm saying? Like, pathological demand avoidance, like, I literally gave myself a schedule and then went against it because I was just like, the demand is too much. And I'm learning a lot right now, and it's a lot of information to process. And one of the things that has been really painful about this process is being able to identify all of the symptoms of the things that I'm learning about myself, and being able to identify, like, easily go straight to moments I remember in childhood where I was exhibiting those symptoms, but they were seen as me being too emotional, or me being annoying, or me being like a nuisance, when they were symptoms. And it's really hard to somebody wasn't paying attention. That's it. There was too many of us. Too many of us to give attention to at one time. And I got a lot of attention. That's the crazy thing. Compared to my siblings, I got a lot of attention. And I didn't get what I needed. I didn't get what I needed, and I had to do a lot more work than I was supposed to do. And I've had to do a lot of my own processing and my own emotional development and my own work. And it's just, you know, it's a challenge. But I'm glad to have this show. I'm glad to have this space. I'm thankful that y'all are here. I want to go into the next section, but honestly, we will pick this up on Thursday, cause you know, it's a we back, we back. The shows will run 45 to 55 minutes. I'm not gonna stick to a solid hour. We're gonna do a TV hour. Thank you. We're gonna do a TV hour. So I'll run the shows about 45 to 55 minutes. And we're gonna do this Tuesdays and Thursdays at 7 o'clock. Makes it manageable for me. I also have a job now, so last time I wasn't working. Now I have a job, so I got my schedule based on that. So, you know, we're doing this. If y'all could share the video, share it on your page, slide into some DMs, and I also, if y'all have Instagram, over on Facebook, if you're watching on Facebook and you have Instagram, which is over here, I can now make money on Reels. So, whenever y'all see a Reel under my, on my page, you see a Reel for me, engage in that motherfucker. Like it, share it, save it, all of that. Anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and get up out of here, y'all. Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. Thank you so much for sharing this space with me. We back. We back. And it feels amazing. Thank y'all. Peace.